As to what can be done, well, we were unfortunately, like you said, we were forced to start the special military operation, and the goal of that, as President Putin has repeatedly stated, is that the West has grossly violated its promises that NATO would not expand an inch further to the east. They also reneged on their obligations under the NATO documents when they said they would not station their military forces on the member states, in the territories of the member states of NATO for a prolonged period of time, on a permanent period. So we have repeatedly warned NATO that involving Ukraine in NATO's expansion and hostile activities against Russia is unacceptable. But unfortunately, we saw that the West not only used Ukrainian territory to expand their military, but it also encouraged neo-Nazi trends and tendencies and practices in Ukraine, including the neo-Nazi practices of the Ukrainian regime since 2014, when the coup that took place, well, it couldn't have happened without the support of the United States. It was forced on Europe. Europe was forced to acknowledge that coup. No guarantees that the European leaders signed were respected, and so the coup took place. Russophobes and anti-Russian politicians came to power, and the rest is history. As for those who said that this was all in the past, this is all ancient history, and now it's very different in Ukraine. They have been trying to make us believe them last year when we did our last made our last attempts to start talks with these people. It was then when Zelensky, who became elected by carrying the slogans of establishing peace in the Donbass, he, instead of following those slogans, he rebranded himself, he changed, and in 2020, in the fall, he said that anyone who believes in Ukraine, who believes himself to be Russian in terms of its language or culture or anything else, is free to get out of the country and go back to Russia. So this was not only met by silence in the West and in Europe, it was encouraged. And this was part of their strategy to turn Ukraine into an anti-Russia, both abstractly and very physically, in terms of physically damaging and weakening Russia. This is something that's clearly acknowledged right now by not just political scientists, but also politicians. It was all part of a plan to strategically target Russia and undermine its territorial integrity. These people know no bounds. They have political ambitions that they place above everything else. They have this feeling of superiority, this their neo-colonialist illusions and dreams, they place them higher than the interests of their own people. So we on our part will do everything so that our counterparts from NATO and from the European Union sober up as quickly as possible.